This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.
Hi everyone, Bridget Fitzpatrick here with the Female Founder Show. I'm really excited about today's guest, Jaris. Now, Dylan is a multi-six-figure Etsy seller who turned her online shop into a game changer for her family's future. But her story goes beyond just sales. She's a mother of 2 boys, a military spouse, and someone who used her deep background in corporate e-commerce, working with brands like Zappos and Zulily, to build real, lasting wealth. She's an expert in buying, product development, pricing strategy, and forecasting, and now she's applying that knowledge across Etsy, Amazon, and Shopify. What I love about Dylan is that she keeps it real on social media and with her Etsy course with actionable strategies that help other sellers create financial freedom for themselves. With that, Dylan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Bridget. I'm so happy to be here.
Wonderful. So let's take us back a little bit. Now, how was your upbringing? Did you always want to be an entrepreneur?
Yes. So my parents were both entrepreneurs. I grew up on, a farm in Minnesota, not afraid of hard work. And my dad had a fencing construction company, and my mom was, she had a private dental practice. So I was, just surrounded by it. And I knew at some point I would want to. I thought maybe by the time I'm 40, at that point, okay, I'll get some good experience and then do something on my own. But I would say that really accelerated when I married someone in the military, and it kind of forced me into entrepreneurship early.
Oh, well, thank your husband for his service for us. We appreciate him very much. Yes.
Thank you. I will.
So then you worked in the corporate world, working for big corporations like Zappos and Zulily. Talk to us about some of the things you took from those companies into your entrepreneurship world.
Yes. So I learned so much specifically from Zappos about the customer experience, the customer journey. Delivering Happiness was Tony Hsieh's book. He was the CEO. And I learned so much about really the lifetime value of the customer and what that meant in e-commerce, but also in like a service-based business, like what I do now. So that, I will always take with me. And then moved up to Seattle and worked for Zulily, which is a flash sale model, totally different. I would say very unstable business in comparison to Zappos. They ended up going through, bankruptcy later. But I learned a lot about the other side of customer service, which honestly, it was a little bit polar opposite to Zappos. And I saw just the leverage that you have in business relationships when you really are looking out for each other. It gives you, I would say, more stability long term.
That's good. It probably made you more well-rounded going into entrepreneurship to learn both sides of it the way you did at those corporations.
Yeah, having a really great experience and, exemplifying those attributes as a company, and then kind of the opposite. I saw both sides and I saw the results of both sides.
And then transitioning from going from corporate to your own, talk to us about that transition. How was that for you?
Yes. So it was totally by accident. And I was 25 when I met my husband. And we've been married almost 9 years now, but he is in the military. He's on a submarine, and I knew nothing about this life. I thought, oh, this is so mysterious and cool. But he found me actually through my blog. We were up in Seattle, and I was a blogger, and he's like, oh, I realized you lived in Seattle just across the water. So he invited me to a submarine officers ball. Blindly emailed me. And
Aww.
Yeah, it was quite the story.
Yeah.
But basically within that year, we ended up getting engaged, moving to San Diego, and there's really not a lot of e-commerce here. So I thought, oh my goodness, has my career peaked? I'm applying for all of these jobs that are like, front desk admin when I used to be making 6 figures. And it really, really, I would say, hit my self-esteem, because I really tied my identity to career achievement before. And so I was doing all these side hustles, dog walking, house sitting, and putting things on eBay. Etsy was one of those. And that was the one that really took hold.
Now, what was your first? What did you sell on Etsy? What was the beginning like?
Yeah, so I was very casual in the way I went about it. I didn't really take it seriously. I didn't realize the power of the platform. And I just put up a floral letter. So it was a wooden letter in the shape of our last name initial, so a J. And I put fake flowers all over it for our wedding. I just took the photo from our wedding, put one picture up on Etsy, a few words, and the idea was that this would be customized, made to order. They can pick their letter, their colors, and it took 2 months, but I finally got one sale. And then I realized, like, wow, like there could be something here. And at that 2 month mark, I started applying pretty much everything I learned in corporate ecom to the Etsy platform. And within 8 weeks of that, we're making over 10 grand a month from that point on.
That is such a great success story. And I know there's a lot of people watching that may be thinking about starting an e-commerce shop. What was there one thing that you think might have contributed to that?
So
probably many things, but what sticks out the most, I guess.
Yeah. I would say I started with one product that was my own. It was just one product. It was something I liked. I used it in the wedding, but every other product I added to the shop, it was purely by listening to my customer and doing that market research. So I was no longer selling things that I liked. They're things I wouldn't put in my home, but I knew my customer would love it. And it was probably a principle that I learned as a buyer for Zappos, because when I started working for Zappos as a buyer, I was in the surf skate category. I'm not a skateboarding kind of girl. But I learned to really
you had
look
to listen
at the
to the
data.
customer. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned to really look at the data to make business decisions. And that's exactly what I did with Etsy that made it so successful.
Great advice for any type of business is to listen to the customer. So
Totally.
For sure. Now you saw incredible growth in the first year, so much so that you decided to start coaching people. Talk to us about your coaching business.
Yeah. So in the first roughly 6 years on Etsy, we made over $1 million in profit. And it actually was so much work, so long of days, 16-hour days, that I ended up actually getting vascular disease in my legs. I don't share this often.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But, it's from standing up so long. All day nurses, they wear compression stockings. It was kind of the same situation. So I ended up getting surgery, and the doctor told me, like, this is going to happen again if you don't change your working style. So I basically hired out everything for production for Etsy, and all these military spouses are asking, like, Dylan, how are you making, more money than your spouse? This is crazy. So I saw the need for the education, the real e-commerce education. So I started teaching it on YouTube. Within a month, I already had like 40 students who were wanting coaching, and we scaled to 8 figures in the first 14 months.
That's great. I mean, such huge success so quickly. And now you've really transitioned. And so you've even conducted a summit. So you recently did a summit for Etsy shop owners. Can you talk to us about that? I know what goes into hosting a live event like that. I've done 2 of them myself with my husband and our companies, and it's no easy feat. So talk to us about why you decided to do the summit and what that's going to look like in the future.
Yeah, there were many reasons we wanted to do the summit. We've been around for about 2.5 years, and we saw really the meaning of community for these entrepreneurs, many of them solopreneurs at home. They're just watching me on videos and on Zoom calls, but they didn't have that connection of someone who really understood in person. And so we saw a huge need for that. Also, in this kind of online digital product space, sometimes you question, does someone really know what they're talking about? Or are they like putting on this facade? Did they really do e-commerce? And I think just for the brand as well, honestly, getting out there and saying, this is not me by myself. We have a team of 35 people, full coaching team and staff. And even just what this is going to do for the brand was important. So it was intimidating because I'm an introvert.
Me too. So I get it. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, all these people coming, and I do not like to be the center of attention at all. I would much rather someone else. So it was, I would say humbling was the word. I was just so taken aback by the stories, people coming up to me crying, saying it changed their life. So it was a good first summit. Nothing really went wrong. So we're doing another one in the summer.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. That's very exciting. Very exciting.
Thank you.
So you do so much. You've got over 30 employees. You're a mother, wife, hosting, working all the time. Talk to us about, and the work-life balance. Sometimes people hate that, but it is a thing. So I hate those words anyway, but it is a real thing. Talk to us about how you manage all of that and stay motivated and positive.
Yes. So one thing that I'm really big on is always looking ahead, and I do not dwell on things that go wrong. I have to be very resilient. I think that comes from maybe a difficult childhood, as well as, looking ahead, what's in your wheelhouse of controllables, and how can you improve the situation? How can you make an impact? So always looking ahead keeps me really positive. Even when things are going wrong, I think, okay, what can I do though? And then, balance, kind of like what you were alluding to. I don't really believe in balance, but there's definitely chapters like throughout a year of different priorities. So, certain time of year, it's like, okay, my husband is really going up against something big, and he's, we got to prioritize what he's doing career-wise. Other times of year, it's like I'm launching something. Okay, he's, doing more with the kids. So it's like definitely waves of priorities that always shift.
Yeah, great way to put it. And then you ride those waves that you have to when you have to, right?
Totally.
So if there was one piece of advice you could give to yourself when you were first starting out, or give to those women that are watching today that are thinking about starting a business, what advice would you give them?
I would say that honestly, like whether you have a family or not, or whether you're married or not, there's always different priorities. Maybe you have parents or siblings or friends who have needs from you. So there's always kind of, you're being pulled in different directions. I would say one of the biggest things that I've seen, I would say make me successful, but also like our students successful, is when they learn to thrive in imperfect conditions. And I think a lot of us think, okay, I'm just going to like survive these imperfect conditions, but really thriving and like stepping into the chaos a little bit, working in the margins and not waiting for like perfect timing for anything, not delaying decisions as well because of timing things. In a way that's, I do believe not making a decision that's, clear way to make a decision that I would rather be a little more intentional about, instead of just like letting things happen. So really just remembering conditions will never be perfect in your entrepreneurial journey. So embrace the imperfection and the chaos and just work in the margins, every 15 minutes. What could you do that would have a positive ROI for you? And breaking it down into that small, tiny little level.
Oh, I like the way you said that, breaking it down into small chunks instead of thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Or like, what can I do in the next 15 minutes that can help, right?
Totally. Yes.
So a lot of high achievers, such as yourself, have, whether it be a morning routine or something that they do daily to keep them going. Do you have a morning routine or some kind of routine that you can tell us about?
So I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they're both boys, and it is just wild in the mornings. So my 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., I don't look at Slack. That's like the 1 hour a day where it's like, you cannot get a hold of me. And I would say for me, like multitasking, I can multitask almost all day long, but there are certain times where it's like, I just got to focus on the one thing. Otherwise I'm not going to do anything well. So I would say really protecting your energy during certain times of the day, having a very limited time if you need to shut things off to do that. And my very first thing I do when I wake up at 6 a.m. is I look at Slack and put out the fires. So, you know, I'm not really into the woo woo. I'm going to get in my like bath full of ice cubes.
I don't do the ice cube thing either.
You don't?
No. I don't know if I would be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, my morning routine is just get to work.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I love it.
Basically.
I love it. And I love the honesty and that's what you do. That's great. Yeah. And with two small children, sometimes you might not have a choice what you do. It's up to them what you're going to be doing in the morning.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So you talked about being an introvert. I am as well. And leadership as an introvert, I've struggled with in the past. And you have a team of, like you said, more than 30 people. Can you talk to me a little bit about your leadership style, especially as an introvert?
Yes. This is so interesting. I found when I have 5 people, okay, it's like I do well with 5 teammates in the group. I can, pay attention and really put energy into all that. But once we got over maybe 15, I was just like, wow, now all I do, it's like people management. And this is exhausting. This is draining all of my energy. And it's dynamics of between people and relationship management within the team versus thinking expansively, how can I grow and what's the vision for the company to really lead them. So what I've found works really well. I actually was inspired by Tony Hsieh at Zappos. He was very quiet as a CEO, very, very quiet, soft-spoken, not the loudest person in the room. And he built this huge company. So I realized I don't have to be the loudest person here. So I started hiring people who are actually extroverts. And it does so much for the culture of the company because they help carry that and move it along. And so it's not weighing on me to build this vibrant, culture where I'm always on with each person. So I basically bring in strategic hires who are more of an extrovert to help fill that.
Very smart. Very smart. Yes. So let's talk about 5-10 years down the road. Where do you see yourself in the company?
Yes. So this year, it's a big transition year. My husband has been in the military for 15 years, and he's actually not going to stay in until retirement. So he's getting out in a couple months, and he will be stepping in. He's already kind of stepped in as our COO. So
Awesome.
Working together, husband and wife, really excited for that. It will also involve a move out of California. We don't want to be California residents with a business right now. So we'll be making a move and then really growth for the company and stability. We just launched a software company in October that is kind of complementary. I would say it's for e-commerce sellers. So focusing on that, building that up to be about equal in size to the coaching business is our plan. Great.
That's exciting. So I work with my husband and it's amazing. We have our moments, but it really does work well. I don't know is your husband extrovert or introvert?
He has more endurance.
Okay.
For turning on his extrovert side.
Yeah, mine's a total extrovert, and so that kind of helps me a little bit. But it really is nice getting to work with him every day. I love creating and going into the office with him every day, and excited about the platform that you're producing. Maybe we can have you back on to talk about that when that gets going and we can hear more about that.
Awesome. Yeah. It is out there. It's called Etseo, etseo.com. So it's out there and we're growing it steadily in a healthy way. So things are moving.
Is it SEO for Etsy? Is that what?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, great. We can talk about it now. No, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lots going on in your world. Keep killing it. You're doing an amazing job, and it's been fun to watch your growth, and I look forward to continuing to watch your growth.
Oh, thank you for having me on. This was really nice. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN. If you're a female founder and would like to help other female founders with your inspiring story, we would love to hear from you.